Hey y'all, Tyrell Ordain aka the Cricket Rockstar Devo back with another video. I hope you all are all well and in very good health. What a long Independence Day weekend it has been, not just for me alone, but also for the people of Trinidad and Tobago as the Twin Island nation celebrated 63 years of independence. Not just that alone, but cricket lovers alike were absolutely delirious all across the country. Not just the Knight Riders supporters here in Trinidad, but also in India as well. But we will not talk about my Indian friends for this video. This is about Trinidad and Tobago. This is about the Knight Riders. And also the other game that played a few nights ago. Sorry for that, guys. I'm just over ecstatic. The Trinbago Knight Riders became the first team to qualify for the CPL playoffs. More importantly, they are also on the brink of also finishing in the top two, which will mean that they are likely to have two bites of the cherry come playoff time to at least get into the final. Now, the last time the Knight Riders made the final was in 2023, where they lost by a big margin, which was very unusual. But we all know that was in the past. This is the present now. So Saturday night, I actually attended the Curry Derby, aka the TKR versus Guyana Amazon Warriors match at the Brian Lara Cricket Academy in Tarouba. And I'll tell you this, it was an absolute blast. The bright thing out of it was the experience was absolutely fan-friendly. It was absolutely cricket crazy. Both sides of supporters, the Trinis and the Guyanese, they totally love their cricket. They die for their cricket. They love their curry chicken. Trinidadians love their curry chicken. Guyanese love their chicken curry. But it's not all about the curry. It's about the cricket, the fun, and the passion. And furthermore, not a single supporter from either team was attacked. Let me tell you all that up front, because I know for a fact whenever Guyanese lose their matches, sometimes they would attack one another or even attack the opposition team supporters. But after what we have seen in the last couple of seasons via social media, I mean, the vibes this season has so far been electric, because security forces, they had no choice but to upgrade its protocol after a few incidents which went viral. But nevertheless, I also want to say this too: the people in South and Central Trinidad are friendly, just like our companions here in the North and the West and the East of Trinidad. They were absolutely wonderful. They were terrific on the whole, let me tell you. Before the match even began, I had the privilege of meeting CCN TV6 sports anchor James Saunders, who also has the same mohawk just like I do. This is actually the second time I actually caught up with him in 6 years. This time I had the pleasure of introducing myself to him and telling him how I'm a huge fan of his sports anchoring. So as I'm a huge fan, what else I should say? I even mentioned to him that I'm also talented, a trained broadcaster and a host. I'm not sure if I mentioned that, but nevertheless, this was actually the second time in 6 years I caught up with him. And I'll tell you this, as I just mentioned, I introduced myself to him. Coincidentally, I do follow him both on Facebook and Instagram. And I told him that I'm a die-hard cricket fan and a trained broadcaster. I remember that now. That's the conversation. That's what I told Mr. Saunders himself. I even also had the pleasure of meeting English YouTuber / content creator Dan Jats, who is with the CPL team this year as a content creator. Coincidentally, I do also follow this lad's YouTube channel and his social media platforms as well. And he too has connections with the cricketers. I even told him that I'm also a trained broadcaster, alongside being one of his fans who I would follow all the time whenever I do get the chance. But those interactions were brilliant before the start of the game, nevertheless. But let's get down to the cricketing business, as the Trinbago Knight Riders continued its winning streak on home soil with a comprehensive 6-wicket victory over the Amazon Warriors. And what all cricket fans around the Caribbean and around the cricket world built this match as a grudge match due to the nature of the events of how the Knight Riders were eliminated / robbed in the controversial eliminator match last year. TKR, let me tell you, showed why they are already top contenders for the title this year, as their bowling performances led by the always reliable Akil Hussein, was disciplined and effective on the night, restricting a dangerous Amazon Warriors side to a below par total of 163 for 9. He had figures of 3 for 27 and was adjudged the player of the match for his bowling efforts on the night. However, the real story was their batting powerhouse duel in what I always like to call box office. I'm talking about Alex Hales and Colin Munro. They literally took the game away from the Amazon Warriors in the first 10 overs, scoring 116 runs. And that was the game right there. I even have footage of it, but I will not show it as it would take a lot of time for me to pull out content. But it was not just a masterclass. It was box office stuff filled with raining 4s and 6s. Not just from Alex Hales, who made 54, but also Colin Munro, who made, I believe, 52 or 56 runs, somewhere there. But their batting display on Saturday night was not just about aggression. It was controlled, and also they did play sensible despite having a few hiccups here and there. But they made the chase look absolutely effortless and effectively, which killed the game in the first 10 overs. This performance also highlighted TKR's well-rounded strength, which has a strong bowling attack despite their... Honestly, at the start of the CPL, before I mention strong bowling attack, their bowling attack has gotten better and better. Before the start of the CPL, experts during the draft show were saying that their bowling attack was very weak. But this team has found a way to find themselves in dominant positions after having the weak starts. But this is what you call commentator's curse. They did chase the 164 runs down for the loss of 4 wickets inside the 18th over, despite having a couple of hiccups along the way. For the Amazon Warriors, though, aka Chicken Curry, it was another disappointing performance, or should I say another disappointing effort from a team that has reached the finals so many times over the years and have won just the one title a couple of seasons back. But their performances with the bat for the second game in a row was below standards, especially for a massive derby match like this. I'm not going to talk about their batting woes. I would like to talk about their fight, or should I say, I would like to talk about the fight that was put up by their captain Imran Tahir, who continues to get better and better game after game at the age of 46 years old. If Colin Munro at the age of 38 is scoring all these runs consistently, and Tahir at the age of 46 continues to get wickets game after game, there's the old saying which says age is just a number. But these guys, they continue to perform essentially, which has kept them in the game. I'm talking about Imran Tahir now. Those 3 wickets in that 11th over did cause panic, not just in the TKR dugout, but also in the stands itself. But the damage was already done after that 11th over. His figures of 4 for 27 from 4 overs was the only positive thing that came out for the Warriors. As for the rest of their bowling unit, they did fail to back up its captain's performances, and despite the slump of form, they indeed do have 5 home games coming up. They have one against the Royals before heading home. And we all know how Guyanese love to come out and chant and support their team, but they are in a bit of slump. Their batsmen are struggling to get runs. Their bowlers aren't the problem, neither its fielding. But nevertheless, they aren't out of the running just yet for the top 2 spot, even though they are placed in 4th position with just 4 points from 4 games with 2 defeats and 2 wins. They have 6 games remaining, 1 away in Barbados and 5 in Ghana. And we all know whenever they play at home, they always have the psychological advantage. But their batting lineup is a concern. That's all I want to say. Except for the likes of Hope and Shepherd and the lower order, it is a concern. Moving from the affairs of Saturday night, which was crazy, BTW, I did leave the academy around after midnight with a family friend of mine who we went to the game together with, because we had to lie a little bit. But moving away from Saturday to Sunday now. Sunday afternoon's match involving the St. Lucia Kings and the Antigua and Barbuda Falcons was indeed a high-scoring run fest as Tim Seifert has joined Andre Russell as the second batter in the history of the biggest party in sport to score the fastest century in what was a sensational run chase which led to the defending champions comfortably defeating the Falcons by 7 wickets to finish its home leg on a high. More importantly, they are also on the brink of becoming the second team after the Knight Riders to secure a berth in the CPL playoffs. And they're another team that also is in the running for top 2 as well, given how both them and the Knight Riders have been performing despite the one game which was a little controversial, which the umpire did make a blunder, but that's in the past now. But coming back to Sunday, the Falcons did post 4 for 204, in which everyone thought was going to be a match-winning total, following a superb high-quality batting display from Amir Django, 56, playing in it, who made 56 in just his first game of the season. But don't forget the pyrotechnics that came from the back of former Bangladeshi all-rounder Shakib Al Hasan, who made 61, and discarded West Indian all-rounder from Jamaica Fabian Allen, who made a swashbuckling 38 at the end. The Kings' run chase will forever be a memorable one for the ages as it comes to Tim Seifert, the New Zealand freelancer international. He scored the joint fastest CPL 100, which also single-handedly took the Falcons down within a matter of a time. And the rest of the Kings' batting display after that fastest 100 from Seifert all played supportive roles alongside Seifert's clean hitting and aggressive intention from the very first ball, which was the true meaning to their victory, and it has given them immense confidence going into the match against the Knight Riders on Wednesday, which is TKR's last home game. But coming back to the Kings though, we're talking about them in blue now. They have been performing immensely well for the last few games, despite that blunder in which they did lose at home from being in a winning position. They've been performing absolutely wonderful. But I want to say this carefully. Do not overhype the Kings nor the Knight Riders just yet, because whenever teams get overhyped, we all see the collapses that has happened. But so far, this Kings batting lineup has been boom, boom, no doubt about it. And it shows on any day, one player's performance can change the course of the match and can also win tournaments. Before I even get to the TKR Patriots game that played on Monday, on the day of Independence Day, the Sunday gone, a few days ago, I had the pleasure of attending the Republic Bank pop-up experience that took place at Invaders Bay in Movietown, Port of Spain, where I met 4 of the players, 2 each from the Trinbago Knight Riders, McKenny Clark from St. Lucia, who took that stunner against the Royals and was the one that dropped the catch of the first ball against Amazon. I find he's one hell of a talent. And Nathan Edward too, who has been in the thick of things with his bowling so far this season, the Bajan. Not just the 2 of them I met as well. I even met Waqar Solanki, who also was a part of the Knight Riders for the last 2 seasons. He's with the Patriots this season and has been their leading wicket taker so far, taking, I think, 12 wickets in this campaign. The Afghan wrist spinner, you can't call them Chinaman because it's insulting nowadays. But Solanki was very friendly when I met him. And I even met Abbas Afridi from Pakistan, who I thought was very shy. But nevertheless, I even confessed to Abbas Afridi up front that I'm a huge fan of his teammate Naseem Shah and the 50-over captain Mohammad Rizwan. I had to throw that confession out there one time. I had an absolute blast there. And that's not all. I even took pics as well with Sonny Bling of Slam 1.5 FM. And if that was fun enough, the exciting part was the 4 players themselves who I met. They even signed my 2024 TKR jersey. And also one of the balls that I was given to by one of the Republic Bank ladies who was there on the Sunday, they did even sign that as well. And I have them all packed away currently. I did win merchandise, but sadly no tickets to the remaining games, which you can say was 50-50. And I even got the chance to interact with the players a little bit too, which was pure fun, along with lots of excitement that happened on Independence afternoon. Moving away from the celebrations at the pop-up experience to Monday's game, which was yet another day game in the CPL, as the Knight Riders, as I mentioned earlier on in the video, became the first team to qualify for the CPL playoffs after defeating the Patriots by just 12 runs in what was a close encounter. The Knight Riders posted a daunting 179 for 6 from 20 overs in an innings anchored by two key stands. But the main partnership I would like to talk about is Nicholas Pooran's and Kyron Pollard. Now, Pooran, the captain for this year, he scored a brisk 52 of 38, but it was the big hitting craziness of former skipper Pollard, who is now the batting coach at TKR, in which none of the experts have been talking about. He stole the show, showing the youngsters how it's done on the stage. Coming in at 3 for 78, Pollard unleashed a whirlwind 65 of just 29 deliveries, including 2 boundaries and 8 maximums. His power hitting propelled TKR to a massive total, which I thought at the halfway stage, at the end of 20 overs, when they made the 179, they were about 15-20 runs short. And there was one stage they were 70-something for 2, but in the last 10 overs, they went all guns blazing. It had to disappear, given the amount of dot balls which was conceded in the middle phase. When the Patriots came out to bat, they started off well with openers Andre Fletcher and Evan Lewis, putting on a solid 96-run stand for the first wicket. Lewis was the one with all the aggression, scoring 42 of 25, while Fletcher played a more measured innings, making 67 of 54. And once the openers were dismissed, the game just slipped away as the middle order, capitulated. And that's where the Patriots lost momentum all the way, and they were unable to keep up with the required run rate, finishing at 167 for the loss of 6, falling short by 12 runs. According to an old saying which says, when you're in trouble, there's always a way, as when TKR was struggling to get the 2 big guns out, Nathan Edward, who is known for his variations with slower deliveries and change of pace, delivered when it was needed at the right time, as he finished with impressive figures of 3 wickets for 30 runs. There was one time he was also on a hat-trick. That was thanks to the brilliance in the field at deep mid-wicket from McKenny Clark, who was on as a substitute for Andre Russell, and also dismissing Jail Gully like before wicket first ball. And honestly, if I was one of the adjudicators who was supposed to give the player of the match, I would have handed Edward the player of the match award myself. And there's another old saying that says, when you're defending a big total, bowlers win you matches. Or should I say, when you're defending a big or a small total, bowlers win you matches. And he did the damage as far as I'm concerned. Coming to Trinbago Knight Riders are in well command at the top of the table with 12 points, with a strong net run rate, which indicates that they have been winning matches comprehensively and sometimes in close positions. And we all know they're a formidable side that has a lot of aging players, and we all know a lot of people say it's a legends team. They've already they're already qualified for the playoffs with a few games remaining, which means that they could test some of those who have not even gotten an opportunity just yet. As for the Kings, they're in second place. More than likely, they, along with the Knight Riders, are going to be the ones in the top 2 who could have the 2 bites of the cherry come playoff time. They are in second position with 10 points, 2 washout games, and just 1 defeat, with a positive net run rate, which shows that just like with the Knight Riders, the Kings are serious contenders for the top 2. The Antigua and Barbuda Falcons in 3rd position are currently holding on to their playoff spot with a knife edge. But as you all may or may not know, they do currently have a negative net run rate, which can be a concern and could come back and bite them at the end. But they need to improve very quickly, especially for the last couple of games on the road. After that performance the other day where they did score over 200 plus and still come and lost. The Ghana Amazon Warriors, they're in 4th position with 4 points, having played just 4 games. But out of all the teams in this competition so far, they're still the only ones to have a positive net run rate, but are down in the rankings for a couple of reasons. Their poor batting display at the top and sometimes at the middle. But it's bowling along with their fielding has been the positive. If they do want to improve on their ranking, they need to get things right, especially with its top order, if they want to stand a chance at climbing the table and also getting their chance in the top 2. You never know. As for the Patriots, they're all but almost virtually out of the playoff running, as they're second to last on the table with just 2 victories and 4 points from 8 matches. They'll need a remarkable turnaround or some assistance from the other teams if they'll have a chance at getting into the playoffs. As for the Barbados Royals, they're currently in dire straits. They are yet to register a victory. They already have 1 washout. As for the rest of their matches, they have no wins, which is a serious concern. And as they're the side at the bottom of the table, they're going to have to play out of their skins, especially in front of its vibrant home crowd, if they want to get back into the race for the top 4 playoff spot. And with all of that CPL cricket carnage that's going around, that's going to do it for this video. Hope you all liked it. Remember, if you do like it, please like, comment and subscribe to my YouTube channel for more content like this. So until we meet again, folks, be good, be cool, stay frosty, and of course, we'll continue. Bye for now.